All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. It's David, the Comic Gamer Nerd, once again. Today, we are going to talk about the Ravens' options at wide receiver and who we should pursue. So, right off the bat, let's talk about some current players that are potentially available that we could trade for. I'm just going to jump right in, guys. Number one on my list, the number one guy I think we should go grab right now is Michael Gallup from Dallas. Michael Gallup would give us true number one receiver size, number one receiver ability. If you look at him right now with Dallas, he's not really being used to his full potential. They have Amari Cooper, they have the rookie CeeDee Lamb, and then their fourth receiver, Wilson, has really come on strong. So, that causes quite a few problems for someone like Michael Gallup, who's looking to get more playing time. On the Ravens, he would easily slide in as a number one receiver, move Hollywood to number two, and so down the depth chart. He's still in his rookie deal. He's young enough where he still has room to grow. He's still cheap. And we are in win now mode. We have a lot of folks we have to pay. So, yeah, Michael Gallup would be number one on that list for me for obvious reasons. He's a deep threat. He can run every route. He's tall, so it gives you a little bit of that end zone threat. Number two on the list, simply because they're just doing so bad this year. Number two on the list would be Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks with the Houston Texans. They're just doing so bad this year. I think Brandon Cooks would add another element of speed, another true number one, the ability to move Hollywood down to the number two receiver spot, which I think Hollywood would have even more success against number two corners, and it would just boost the whole offense. So Brandon Cooks would be my number two. And those were the two that kind of stood out that could come in and be our new number one receivers. If we're looking to add depth at the 2-3 area receivers, I would say Christian Kirk. Same thing with DeAndre Hopkins going to Arizona and still having Larry Fitzgerald. I think Christian Kirk's young enough, fast enough, gives you some of that special teams return ability. He would be a really good guy for us to go out and get as well. I think that just the level of depth he would add, he could, allow more playing time for Devin Duvernay or James Prochet because of the return ability of Christian Kirk. And I think, that would be a decent pickup for a new number two or a new number three receiver. He could also play in the slot for us. Now, moving on. In that same vein, another receiver that could do similar things to Christian Kirk and kind of be that 2 or 3 for us, who hasn't been used a lot this year, is Dede Westbrook from the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's not hurt or injured or anything. He just hasn't been utilized. He's been a healthy scratch. I think the first 2 weeks, once DJ Chark got hurt, they activated him for the last game. But Dede Westbrook's another guy who could come in and add some depth to this team, some quality young depth. That's really what we're looking for. Of course, all these moves will require trades. The highest trade value, I think, would be Michael Gallup, just because, he's young and hasn't signed that big contract yet. I think for Michael Gallup, the highest you go is a 4th round pick. It would be a low 4th round because the Ravens are, pretty good. So conditional 4th round pick for Michael Gallup, and everybody else would be either a 4th or lower. I think Brandon Cooks would probably require a 4th round pick. But yeah, other than that, Christian Kirk, Dede Westbrook, probably get those guys for like 6 or 7 round picks. So those would be my guys if we were to make a trade inside the league. Now, there's a couple guys on the street that we've been aware of in the community, the Ravens community, for a while. Let's start right at the top with the guy who we worked out, and that's Dez Bryant. If you guys have been watching Dez Bryant on social media, you'll see that he's been consistently working out. He's putting in a lot of work, staying in shape, running routes. The Achilles looks pretty good. He looks strong. Still has the same sort of average speed. But here's what I think about Dez. I think Dez comes in not so much as the number one X receiver, but I think he gives us a couple things. I think he gives us a red zone option other than Mark Andrews. He can box people out, guys, and he can jump. So if he can be like a hybrid sort of receiver / number 3 tight end for us, which is really where I think his hidden value would be. If he could be sort of a number 3 tight end, that would be awesome, because then all of a sudden he can run the short intermediate routes still, and he can box people out in the end zone and just catch touchdown passes all day from Lamar Jackson. Another guy on the street who I think has that similar ability is Demarius Thomas. He's still available. Again, same thing with Dez Bryant. He can run the short, intermediate routes and also be a red zone target and be kind of like that third tight end, just with a wide receiver skill set. And just real quick, the other guy everyone knows about, still on the street, would love to join the Ravens with his cousin. I'm going to say it, Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown is out there. He's still one of the best receivers in the game. I know a lot of people don't agree with bringing him in for team chemistry issues, but I'm just going to state the facts about his abilities. And that's that he's a true number 1. He will move Hollywood to number 2. That's Hollywood's cousin. So, I mean, we can all say, like, we're worried about his influence on Hollywood, but I'm sure he's already influencing Hollywood if they're family. So what's the difference? I would say if we need him at that time, I think he is 8 weeks suspension. So I think week 9 he's available. But, as we get closer to that week, we look at our record, we look at our performance, and if it makes sense, why not? Like, the salary won't be guaranteed. It won't be a long-term deal. Just bring in AB and, let's see how it works out. Lamar seemed to really like him when they worked out over their offseason. So, I mean, yeah, we need all the help we can get. So that's kind of my thoughts on the current receivers. I have some thoughts about next year as far as like free agency and who's available and things like that. But for now, that's pretty much my thoughts on the current state of the wide receiving core. Just real quick, if we didn't make any trades or didn't pick anybody up, I would reconfigure some things in our receiving core. I think Devin Duvernay has the strength to be a better outside speed receiver than Hollywood. I will put Hollywood in the slot, and I will put I will alternate the other side with Boykin and James Prochet. The slot backup would be Willie Snead. And that's how I would configure the Ravens. I think Boykin's good, but he doesn't play to his size. He's like 6'4", but he plays like a little receiver. He doesn't really box people out, doesn't use his strength in his body the way that he really should. So that could be something he can grow into. But for now, I would definitely put in James Prochet and see what he can do. So, yeah, I mean, that's my thoughts. This is my new channel, David the Comic Gamer Nerd. We talk about everything on here from video games to sports, nerd culture. I'm a DMV guy, so my teams are always going to be the Ravens and the Capitals, Nationals, and Orioles. But we're going to talk about everybody. We're going to address everything. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Please subscribe to the channel. Please like the videos. I'm looking to reach 1,000 subscribers here. That's my first goal. Yeah, I just appreciate everybody, and thanks for the continued support. And stay safe in this COVID era. And don't forget to go out and vote. It's very important. It's coming up soon. Don't use football as an excuse. All right. All right, guys. And don't forget, tonight is the National Hockey League draft. I'll be doing a video summarizing that tomorrow. So in the meantime, guys, stay safe. Love you guys, and go Ravens.